An awesome high-bank quarter-mile dirt speedway. The stars of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, and the family atmosphere. How about those cuties? The big crew of the future ready to go to work, and everybody is ready for slam-bang action as the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series invade LaSalle Speedway. The action is next on Speed. Dirt track racing facilities in virtually every state in the union. The great state of Illinois is no exception, but nowhere can you find the excitement as intense as you'll find it right here at LaSalle Speedway, which is why the stars of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series are here at LaSalle. You're about to see why on Speed. Hi again, everyone. I'm Scott Douglas. James Essex alongside. We'll join Matt Steele here in just a moment, but James, let's begin with our K&N Filters track facts and tell us more about LaSalle Speedway.
It's a quarter-mile high-bank dirt oval, Scott, and I tell you what, not only is the racing going to be great here tonight in LaSalle, these fans are so energetic, they're pumped up, they're ready to go.
And they're packed in. It's going to be an awesome show. One of the things that fans will notice watching the broadcast tonight is the fact that in these turns, because it's a quarter-mile oval and these cars are getting such a bite, they're literally at a 90-degree angle going through the turns.
When they're sideways in the middle of the turns, they are literally facing into the infield, coming off the corners. Unbelievable.
The big guns are here, too. We're talking about Bloomquist, Moran, Pearson. They're all ready to go. Let's talk more, though, about this unique track and the banking on this track. And to get more on that, let's go to our colleague, Matt Steele.
It is going to be extremely tight down here on the high banks where anything can happen. Some of these drivers might come in with a plan. Maybe they want to stay low. Maybe some of them want to go high into the turn and come shooting back down into the pack if they have the room. The bottom line is, you know how it goes. You're down to the last 5 laps of the night. There's thousands of people in the stands. All the money's on the line. All your playbook, all the plans that you made, they go right out the window because anything can happen. That's exactly what we love about this dirt track racing.
And let's look at this star-studded lineup. Shannon Babbs going from the pole, and look at Earl Pearson Jr. He's on the outside of row 1.
And Lucas Oil Rookie of the Year candidate Steve Casebolt inside row 2. Scott Bloomquist outside.
John Mason, Donnie Moran. Those are the shoes that will make up row number 3.
Row 4 will be Matt Miller in car 7. Alongside will be Jason Fager out of Bloomington, Illinois in the 25X.
Let's go to row 5. On the inside, Brett Siebert. He'll be joined by the number 83 of Scott James.
Former track champion here Ryan Dauber in car 64 goes inside row 6 outside Freddie Smith.
The row 7 is Jim Partapillo in number 14 and Darren Miller in the 32D.
Jason Jaggers drives the 32J. Mike Matarakis in the 1M, Scott.
So row number 9, Jeep Van Warmer number 55, and Billy Brake is on the outside at number 9.
Skip Martin makes up inside row 10. The veteran Kevin Weaver alongside of the B12.
Row 11 is the S9 of Dan Schleifer on the inside. The outside is Dennis Erb Jr. in the 28E.
Our series provisional tonight, unbelievably, Don O'Neill, one of them. Michael England, the other one in the 5E.
Watch those guys. You may expect them to come blasting through this field as some fast cars are on the tail, but it's nothing but fast cars on this wicked racetrack. Quarter mile, high bank, LaSalle Speedway. We are heading for the green flag. Shannon Babb, Earl Pearson Jr. lead them to the green, and we're underway at LaSalle.
Heat starter Niles Lauterbach going to green flag underway here. The battle up front already. Shannon Babb and Earl Pearson Jr. and Scott Bloomquist, 3 of the hottest drivers so far this season in dirt late model racing, Scott.
We're going to put you right in the middle of the action on board with Earl Pearson Jr., Steve Casebolt, Jason Fager, the real deal, Don O'Neill, Scott James, and Scott Bloomquist. You're going to be in the middle of every minute of it here on Speed. But up front, Shannon Babb is battling, and it's tight for second. Bloomquist is already putting the heat on Earl Pearson Jr.
Shannon Babb, that J&J Steel, CJ Rayburn entry. Meanwhile, side to side between Pearson and Bloomquist, and you see Steve Casebolt being rookie driver, as I mentioned in the intro. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series battling with Donnie Moran. We got a caution out already, Scott.
Caution out on lap number 2 as a couple of cars, including Don O'Neill, getting together.
Don O'Neill and Michael England, they started his provisionals back in row 12.
That's why you don't want to start way back there, is it, James?
Just look at what happened there. Dennis Erb Jr. gets in the back of Don O'Neill's car.
What a great shot from our onboard camera with Don O'Neill in the number 71 car. Doesn't look like a lot of damage, and he really doesn't give up many positions. He'll have to come off the back again. Time now for another Lucas Oil Late Model Series driver. Speaking of racing dirt late models, here we go back under the green flag as the restart sees Shannon Babb on the point.
Scott Bloomquist, he started outside of row number 2. Now 3 wide, Scott, Moran, Pearson, and Bloomquist. Oh my goodness.
You've got the big guns battling for the 2 spot, and Bloomquist able to out-muscle them and get just a little bit of breathing room, but breathing room is something no one's going to have much of on this racetrack.
Scott Bloomquist now trying to track down Shannon Babb. You see the battle here, Earl Pearson Jr., Donnie Moran, Steve Casebolt. That's all for 4th place. Matt Miller in there, 2 in the 7 car.
Pearson trying not to give up too much ground, but he's already faded back to the 4th spot, and he's got some competition there. Let's go up front, though, because it's Scott Bloomquist on the move. He loves the high side of this racetrack, and he'll try to make it stick to get around Shannon Babb.
Gotta love the action on these quarter-mile bull rings, Scott. It's high bank here at LaSalle Speedway, LaSalle, Illinois, halfway between Chicago and Davenport, Iowa. And meanwhile, it's Illinois driver Shannon Babb over the volunteer state driver Scott Bloomquist in a battle here in the 1.
Bloomquist, the legendary driver out of Tennessee, kicking it on the outside. He is really making that high group come in, and he executes the pass, but can he hold the spot now? Babb will fight back on the inside. Scott Bloomquist is your new leader here with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at LaSalle, but don't count Babb out yet.
7 laps to get to the front after falling back to 3rd, and right now Scott Bloomquist, that Miller Brothers Cole Hawkeye Trucking, his own self-designed chassis, Scott. Bloomquist race cars.
Got a great shot on board with Scott. Now we're going to go to that battle for 3rd as we watch Earl Pearson Jr. in another fight, this time with Steve Casebolt.
How about that side by side through the field there? Pearson and Casebolt going at it, the battle here, and Casebolt gets the spot.
And we've got problems in the turn. The caution will come out on lap number 9.
Jeep Van Wormer, the 55 car, gets turned around off of turn number 4. Our second caution of the race, Scott.
We're going to get it sorted out. Scott Bloomquist is your leader. We're back to LaSalle next on Speed. Do not go away. Speedway in Illinois, Scott Douglas, James Essex, and Matt Steele as the green flag falls again. Lap 9, we're back under green.
50 laps in length tonight, Scott. The A main event, $10,000 to win. Scott Bloomquist showing the way, but right now Shannon Babb and Earl Pearson Jr. are dueling it out for second.
This is the most breathing room any leader has had all night, and it's Bloomquist as you ride along with Earl Pearson Jr. in that battle to stay up front. Pearson on the outside trying to follow the same line where Bloomquist has been cutting the groove out for him.
Both drivers giving each other plenty of room here, Scott, around this tight quarters here at LaSalle Speedway. You see Donnie Moran, he's battling there in 4th, and then the battle for 5th between Matt Miller and Steve Casebolt.
It is literally side-by-side racing all around this quarter-mile track. In trouble. Look, Sleeper turns it around. No caution. He gets out of the way. We're still green flag racing.
And Sleeper, that Hawkeye Trucking Miller Brothers Cole entry, look like he's out of the race right now. We still pick up with the leader, Scott Bloomquist, showing the way. That Vic Hill Powered Plant Chevrolet looking good right now. About a 5-6 car length lead now over Shannon Babb.
Shannon Babb has been able to stay down low and still fight off the advances of Earl Pearson Jr. on the high side, but he's not picking up any ground on the leader, Bloomquist. As you get a look at the field thundering by here at LaSalle. You know, you are really constantly sliding here at LaSalle. This is what dirt tracks racing is all about.
Well, the grandstands, they're packed again and out here at LaSalle Speedway, our second appearance here this season. And I tell you what, they're getting an eye full of action tonight, and there's a battle between John Mason and Scott James.
Little contact between the two, but neither the worse for wear. Both cars continue along, and let's ride along with Scott James in that battle for position.
Silver Shark out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Last year's Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Rookie of the Year, that Powell Motorsports Rocket. And there's a battle here between Ryan Dauber and Jason Fager.
Fager looks like he's really fighting the car, and he even smacked the inside tire that kind of keeps him out of the infield there, and he is all over the place. Wow.
A little bit of contact between Fager and Dauber. Meanwhile, working the top side, that black and blue number 9, Billy Drake now on the move.
Drake is trying to move up through, but there's just so much heavy traffic. You got to pick your spots and do it smart. But Drake, like Bloomquist earlier, seems to be finding that the high side is the way to pick up positions on this racetrack.
Tremendous battle. They're swapping paint, as we used to say. Even though these cars are made with decals now, outstanding race going on back here for the 10th spot.
Working their way around as we continue through the mid stages. Scott Bloomquist dominating out front. We're watching the intense action all the way through this pack, and you can see almost 5 wide that time coming out. They kind of fanned out into a row of 2 and a row of 3, but there's not enough room, James, for 5 cars to get across this racetrack. Scott Bloomquist has the lead over Shannon Babb. We've got plenty more racing to go. Don't go away. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series back at LaSalle Speedway, and the intense action continues at the midway stages. it is still Scott Bloomquist who got the lead early and has been able to keep Shannon Babb behind him. But Babb has now given up the number 2 spot to Earl Pearson Jr., and we've got quite a battle for 5th between Moran, James, and Casebolt.
Scott James started in the 10th spot, Scott. He's already working his way up to 5th now. So Scott James, a car on the move here tonight.
Let's take you on board with Scott James. Look at the way they're having to work here at LaSalle. You get a workout when you're behind the wheel on this quarter-mile track.
They're behind 800 horsepower, 8,000 RPMs. They're turning here tonight at LaSalle Speedway. You see Donnie Moran back in the thick of things. Hey, a shout out to Darren Miller. He's come up through there. He's started into 14th spot. He's inside the top 5. And Don O'Neill, another caution flag is out.
And we're going to get a caution at the midway point. Let's go to another Lucas Oil late model. Great goals and a young man who's got a big future in front of him. Thanks, Matt Steele, as we are back under green. Lap number 26, Scott Bloomquist immediately opens up a few links. He's got something for these guys tonight.
Back about Steve Casebolt, he's won a run where Scott Bloomquist is running at tonight. A 4-year college degree from Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, a degree in business. He's going to be a great race car driver, I feel, in the future.
On board with Earl Pearson Jr. battling Shannon Babb, and that is a war going on for second place, trying to see if anybody's going to have anything late in this race for Scott Bloomquist, who's opened up 10 lengths now over Babb, who's taken second, and Earl Pearson Jr. third. But, even at third, with all the problems for Don O'Neill, this could be a huge points night for your season leader.
Well, Matt Miller's right there trying to get around his best buddy, Earl Pearson Jr. on the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. You see Scott James, Darren Miller now, Donnie Moran, Steve Casebolt. Still quite a battle through the field, but it's been all Scott Bloomquist, Scott, from lap 7 on.
It is so amazing to look through the pack and watch these guys go 3 wide on this quarter-mile racetrack, and that's why these grandstands are packed here at LaSalle for the incredible action of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series.
And Steve Casebolt gets a little sideways, got on the binders, gets it corrected, and he's going to lose several spots, and Don O'Neill is down again in car 71. The caution is out with 20 to go, Scott.
Boy, this has been a bad night for Don O'Neill. Going to cost him on the season point standings, we know that, unless he can come up with a miracle run over these last 20 laps. And there you see the real deal, currently second in season points. But first in this race, it's Scott Bloomquist. Can he hold on? We're going to be finding out. Don't go away. Welcome back to LaSalle Speedway with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. James, it appears we're going to try again to get the green flag redisplayed in this field, hopefully this next time by, but it has been a struggle to get the green back out.
Well, a couple failed restarts here, Scott, and we've got a fender flare off of one of the race cars, and we'll take that safely off the racetrack to the infield out of the way. And Michael England, he's involved in something. He's got a right front fender missing, but that wasn't his there the first time.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of incidents. Let's see if we can't get the green back out on this field. Scott Bloomquist wants to see this thing stay greening. He cranks her up, and we are back underway at LaSalle.
14 to go. Shannon Babb, Earl Pearson Jr., the battle for second. You see the battle between 83 Scott James and 7 Matt Miller, with Bloomquist pulling away again, Scott.
Whoever finishes second, if it is Babb or Pearson, they're going to feel like they've been in a war tonight because they haven't gotten to take a breath except maybe during a caution. These two have been side by side almost the entire race, and Babb's in trouble.
Shannon Babb running in a third spot, spins into the infield. We stay green. He's well enough off the racetrack, so we're still racing, Scott.
That's going to cost him a great finish, obviously, here at LaSalle. In the meantime, the distance opens up even further for your leader, Scott Bloomquist. Earl Pearson, he's up on the wheel doing everything he can to try and track Bloomquist down. Now, behind Pearson, what a battle for third.
Jeep Van Warmer, we talked about him earlier in the race. 10 laps into the race, he brought out a yellow flag. He's up to third now. He started in 17th, got to 10th, went to the tail. He is flying here tonight at LaSalle Speedway. Jeep Van Warmer in car 55.
What a run he's having. His Jeep has found every piece of this racetrack from the back to the front, and now he finds himself battling inside the top 5. And as far as Earl Pearson Jr. is concerned, he's saying, you guys just keep fighting it out back here. Let me have a little breathing room here.
Well, that top line really coming into it. You see Darren Miller now. He's around Matt Miller and Scott James. Darren Miller, we mentioned, started in a 14th spot now, and he's going to start to pressure now Jeep Van Warmer. That's for third.
Well, Darren Miller certainly has used that same line we saw Bloomquist use to get the lead. He has used it to advance through the field, and now Matt Miller's going to try that high side.
Some great side-by-side action here tonight at Scott at LaSalle Speedway. Both drivers, you see here, Matt Miller and Scott James giving each other plenty of room to race.
There is plenty of room to race, even though it's a quarter-mile racetrack. And what's amazing is you see so many small tracks end up being one groove. Clearly, this is not one of those. Some guys like the high side. Some guys like the low side. And it appears the high side is where the quickest moves are being made. Certainly, Scott Bloomquist has stayed up against that wall all night long.
on board with Earl Pearson Jr. sawing on the wheel. Scott got a long way to go to catch Scott Bloomquist.
He's actually given up some ground. It looks like he's fallen back to fourth, and here comes Van Wormer.
Here comes Van Wormer from the tail. He's battling up here now for second between Van Wormer and Darren Miller. Those two drivers, the fastest two cars here the last part of the race. But do they have enough time to track down Bloomquist?
You can see the Lucas Oil machine of Earl Pearson has fallen off the pace of those two. You're right. The question is, as fast as Van Wormer's been, does he have enough for Bloomquist? Because Bloomquist has a sizable lead almost the entire straightaway, and they're going to have to make up some ground quickly. They could use a caution is what they would like to see.
They could use a caution because we'd have the Delaware double file restarts, and that means they would be side to side right behind Bloomquist. But right now, they're still battling it out here. Earl Pearson Jr. still running in the fourth spot. Scott James holds down fifth.
You know, these guys are all going to be looking for the water bottles afterwards. A hot, muggy night here in central Illinois, and it's even hotter in the middle of that racetrack. These guys are getting a workout tonight. Scott Bloomquist, though, is having a Saturday night cruise right now.
Well, on his way to another Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series victory this year, you see the top five there. Matt Miller holding down spot number 6. Dennis Erb Jr. up to the back in 7th, and Donnie Moran in 8th. But meanwhile, all eyes on Scott Bloomquist, but all eyes now turning to the back straightaway where Van Wormer and Darren Miller putting on a show here.
They are putting on a show for second. You're absolutely right. And for Earl Pearson Jr., he'd love to just hang on to that 4th or 5th spot because it's going to pad his point lead. We're on the final lap. Let's go to your leader, Scott Bloomquist. He is looking for his 6th Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series victory of the year. And unless something crazy happens in front of him, he's going to get it right now. Scott Bloomquist is your winner, number 6 on the season. Here's that battle for second. I don't know who got it.
The photo finish almost looked like by a few inches. Jeep Van Wormer from the tail takes second. Darren Miller third. Earl Pearson Jr. will wind up fourth, and Scott James will round up the top 5. The big bad Scott Bloomquist. He's your winner tonight, LaSalle, Scott.
And we will hear from the winner next. Don't go away on Speed.
Come on, Kenny. It's going to be the biggest NASCAR season ever. I need it huge. Come on. Huger. I need more Bristol. More Bristol. Come on. You're Kenny Wallace. I need more Daytona. Come on. I'm a NASCAR fan. Throw me some swag.
We're getting ready for the biggest NASCAR season ever.
Kenny, I love you. That's all right. Keep going.
NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Part of exclusive coverage of Speed Weeks on Speed. Beginning Thursday night, 8 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. It's huge.
With you, LaSalle Speedway, and the legend has done it again. He's coming out of the car, your winner. Scott Bloomquist takes the victory at LaSalle. It's win number 6 for Bloomquist on the season. Jeep Van Wormer. How about that run for Jeep at second?
Jeep and Darren Miller, strong runs for both of those drivers, and Jason Fager, he gets a top 10 here tonight.
He gets a top 10. We see Case Bowl Problem end up coming back for a 12th place finish. And what a tough night for Shannon Babb. I mean, you're looking at a car that was potentially a top 3 machine. Late Problems dropped him back to 18th. Donald Neal takes a big hit in the points. Let's send it down to victory lane. Matt Steele is caught up with our winner, Scott Bloomquist.
Scott Bloomquist, the legend, the winner out here tonight, man. We were talking to a lot of the guys in the pits today, and they were kind of groaning. They were happy to see you here, but they knew that odds were pretty good that you were going to end up in the winner's circle, man. It's got to be great to have a reputation like that.
Well, you know, we've run really good this year. I mean, we've had a great career too. But you know, this racetrack is pretty rough, and has some real slick spots out there. That was a little bit tricky to tighten the heat race, and Shannon got us in the heat. But the car was just right for the feature. We've been playing with some new setups, and they really work well on conditions like this. So, you know, it was a treat to be able to come out here and run this good.
Take a look at our other Performance Award winners. The All-Star Performance Performer of the race, of course, Jeep Van Wormer with that run. Quartermaster Cool Move of the race to Darren Miller. The Hawk Break Tough Break Award, no doubt about it. That goes to Shannon Babb. And for our Canaan Clean Pass, James, we're going back to the heat race action.
A terrific battle in the third and final heat race down here at LaSalle Speedway. Billy Drake at 9, Donnie Moran at 99, Steve Case Bowl to the C9. Case Bowl around Moran. We're on the final lap, and here comes the Richmond, Indiana driver with a checkered flag as he'll come now into turn 3 off of 4. A thrilling last lap pass to get into the A-main.
It is our K&N Clean Pass of the night. Congratulations to Scott Bloomquist, and for Matt Steele, James Essex, I'm Scott Douglas. We'll look forward to seeing you next time as the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series comes roaring your way only on Speed.